told my sister-in-law no one cares that she's pregnant. My cousin Rachel just buried her husband and 2 kids last week. A car accident took them all at once. She's left with just her 5-year-old daughter, Emma. Watching them at the funeral was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen. That morning, before we left for the church, my brother Jake and his wife Kelly came over. The first thing Kelly did was announce she was pregnant. We were getting ready for a funeral, and she said, "Guess what, everyone? We have news." My mom congratulated her, but told her to keep it quiet out of respect. She didn't. At the church, Kelly started making loud gagging noises and rubbing her completely flat stomach. Every time someone looked at her, she'd say, "Sorry, morning sickness, I'm pregnant." She kept adding, "As a mom, I just can't imagine what Rachel's going through, even though she doesn't have any kids yet." At the cemetery, she asked Rachel's sister to give up her seat so the pregnant lady could rest after standing maybe 10 minutes. I stayed quiet because it was a funeral. Back at my aunt's house, she kept turning every conversation back to herself. If someone mentioned how hard this was for Rachel, Kelly would say, "Now that I'm pregnant, I understand maternal instincts so much better." When people talked about the babies who died, she'd rub her stomach and talk about how excited she was to be a mom. She even announced every bathroom trip with "pregnant lady coming through" or "baby on board needs to pee" in a house full of grieving people. Then she crossed the line. Rachel was sitting quietly with Emma, both completely shattered. Kelly walked up, stuck out her flat belly, and said, "Me and Jake just found out I'm pregnant. We're beside ourselves thinking about how something like this could happen to us, too." Rachel broke down, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. Emma started crying, too. The whole room went silent. That's when I lost it. I stood up and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Kelly, no one gives a damn that you're pregnant. Look around you. This is a funeral for 2 babies and their father. You took that test 4 days ago, and you're acting like you're the first woman to ever get pregnant. Just leave." Kelly ran out crying. Jake followed her, but not before calling me a fat, bitter witch in front of everyone. My aunt had to comfort Rachel while my mom took Emma outside. My phone blew up all day with calls from Jake and Kelly's family saying I made a pregnant woman cry and that I was heartless. Jake even texted that Kelly was so upset she might miscarry from the stress. But Rachel and my aunt both thanked me. My aunt said Kelly was making everything worse and Rachel couldn't handle it on top of everything else. Rachel told me she was grateful someone spoke up because she was too broken to. The next morning, I found out Jake and Kelly had been calling Rachel all night, pressuring her to convince me to apologize. My aunt had to make Rachel turn off her phone. A woman who just buried her family was being harassed because Kelly's feelings were hurt. I went to my parents' house, and Jake and Kelly were already there trying to get them on their side. As soon as I walked in, they started yelling about Kelly's feelings and how I could cause a miscarriage. I said again that a funeral for 2 children wasn't the time for a pregnancy announcement and told them to leave me alone. Then Kelly said, "If you don't apologize right now, you'll never be allowed in our child's life." I told her I didn't care. If she was going to use her kid as a weapon, I didn't want to be in its life anyway. It escalated fast. Jake was shouting, Kelly was crying, and my dad ended up kicking them out. My mom was so disgusted with how they acted that she hasn't spoken to Jake since.